Progress is rarely a straight line. It's more like the stock market. Lots of ups and downs day by day, but the real story shows up when you step back and look at the long-term trend. And just like the stock market, you want the overall direction to be bullish, gradually climbing in the right direction, even if there are dips along the way. Are you ready to get back to the activities you love after knee replacement? Well, we're here to talk about what really works. The Total Knee Success Podcast is your trusted guide before and after total knee replacement. Here you'll find practical tips and evidence-based strategies, not personal medical advice, just education, all to help you manage pain, rebuild mobility, and get back to living the life you love. Let's dive in. All right, welcome back to the Total Knee Success Podcast. If you're a few weeks out from surgery, this episode will give you perspective on what's happening now. And if you're still in that very first week or two, think of this as a look ahead at what you might expect as you move into the next stages. Research shows that while pain steadily improves after surgery, somewhere between 20 to 30% of patients still report moderate pain at 6 to 12 weeks after knee replacement. And that can sound discouraging at first, but here's the key. There's a big difference between the expected discomfort that comes with healing tissues and strengthening muscles and the type of pain that's a red flag worth calling your provider about. Today, we'll sort that out together in a way that hopefully gives you both reassurance and clarity. But let me be upfront. I'm here to share information and encouragement, not to replace your medical team. Your surgeon and therapy team know your situation best, so lean on their guidance for decisions about your care. I remember a patient who came in around her 8th week after surgery. She was frustrated. She said something like, "I thought I'd be better by now." She described stiffness in the mornings, achiness after her therapy sessions, and swelling that seemed to pop up after a trip to the grocery store. And it turned out that everything she was feeling was actually normal healing discomfort. But since the difference between expected pain and red flag pain hadn't really clicked for her yet, she thought something was wrong. Once we talked it through, she relaxed, adjusted her activity, and realized she was making progress. That's what I want to do for you in this episode. Help you see the difference between normal soreness and signals that deserve medical attention. So, what does normal discomfort feel like? Some pain is expected, and it doesn't mean your knee replacement has failed. In fact, failure this early on is extremely uncommon. Normal pain often shows up as stiffness when you first get moving in the morning or after sitting. You might feel achiness after exercises or on those days when you've been more active than usual. Swelling is very typical too, especially if it improves when you elevate your leg, ice, or rest. That's what normal swelling feels like. And why does this happen? Your body is still healing tissues and retraining muscles and joints. Think of it as soreness you'd feel after starting a new workout routine, if that's something that you've ever done before. It's not pleasant, but it's a sign that your body is adapting. Studies tracking thousands of knee replacement patients show that on average, pain scores drop by about 50% in the first 6 weeks, though many people still aren't pain-free by that point. When we talk about discomfort after knee replacement, it helps to know what's going on under the surface. In the first several weeks, your body is busy repairing the layers that were affected during surgery. Soft tissues like skin, muscles, and connective tissue knit back together. Tiny blood vessels are rebuilding, bringing in oxygen and nutrients. Inflammation is part of this process too. It's your body's way of clearing out damaged cells and kickstarting repair. And that inflammation is what creates much of the swelling, heat, and stiffness you might notice. So as weeks pass, the early inflammation gradually settles, scar tissues begin to mature, and muscles that were weak or inhibited start to reactivate. This is all good. This ongoing remodeling is why soreness can flare after activity, and your body is adapting to the new demands and slowly regaining homeostasis. Homeostasis simply means your body is working to keep things stable on the inside, regulating temperature, circulation, and repair, even while you're asking it to handle new activity. Healing on this scale is also a lot of work for your body. It's not just your knee. Your whole system is spending energy on repair, which is why fatigue is so common during this stage. And that's why good self-care, things like pacing your activity, resting when needed, and nourishing your body matters so much. Understanding these normal tissue healing changes can make it easier to recognize progress when it happens. So, how do you spot these patterns that signal progress? Here's what you really want to pay attention to is the trend. Is the pain hanging around as long as it did 2 weeks ago? Or does it settle down faster now? Is swelling improving more quickly? Are you reaching for the ice pack or medication less often? Progress is rarely a straight line. It's more like the stock market. Lots of ups and downs day by day, but the real story shows up when you step back and look at the long-term trend. And just like the stock market, you want the overall direction to be bullish, gradually climbing in the right direction, even if there are dips along the way. If you're still uncomfortable at 6, 8, or even 10 weeks, then there are a few common reasons. Sometimes it's swelling and inflammation from overdoing it. Other times, weaker muscles in your quads or hips mean the joint itself takes more strain. Scar tissue and stiffness can limit movement and make things ache more. And here's something many people don't realize. Movement patterns from before surgery, such as limping or guarding your leg, can often carry over if they're not retrained. Research shows that gait abnormalities often persist after knee replacement unless they're addressed in therapy, and those patterns can put extra stress on the new joint. This is why physical therapists place such emphasis on gait retraining in the weeks after surgery. It helps to reduce unnecessary strain and improves long-term comfort. Even though a certain amount of soreness is expected, there are times when pain is not normal and it does deserve attention. Call your provider right away if you notice sharp, catching, or locking pain inside the joint. On the other hand, clicking or crepitus sounds without pain are usually normal. Research shows that up to 30 to 40% of patients report some kind of painless noise in their knee replacement, and it's not considered a problem unless it comes with discomfort or loss of function. Also, pay attention to sudden swelling that doesn't actually go down with elevation or ice. Redness, warmth, or fever can point to infection. Severe calf pain or swelling might signal a blood clot. And if your pain is actually worsening at 6 to 8 weeks instead of gradually improving, that deserves attention too. Large multicenter studies show that around 5 to 10% of patients experience complications in the first 3 months. So while complications are not common, it's still important to take these signals seriously and contact your provider. So if you're in that group where pain is still hanging around but not showing any red flags, then there are some things you can try. Pacing your activity is a big one. Alternate tasks with breaks instead of pushing through. Keep up with your strengthening exercises because stronger muscles protect your joint. Work on your sleep environment so it's dark, cool, and quiet, and try to stick to a routine bedtime. And when it comes to mindset, remember that healing is gradual. Avoid comparing your progress to someone else's and try to steer clear of negativity or people who make those comparisons for you. Nobody needs that. That doesn't promote healing for you. Some people also get a short-term benefit from supports like compression sleeves, kinesiology tape, or transitioning into or adding some aquatic therapy once the incision is fully healed. And aquatic therapy can be especially helpful because the buoyancy of the water reduces joint stress while allowing you to move more freely and build strength without as much discomfort. But always check with your provider before adding those in. And here's where the mind-body connection comes in. Sleep and stress play a huge role in how your body interprets pain. Patients with poor sleep, for example, are significantly more likely to report moderate to severe pain at 3 months, with research showing that disrupted or fragmented sleep nearly doubles the odds of lingering pain. And that's why creating a calm, restful environment and practicing stress management can be just as important as the exercises themselves. If you'd like more on this, go back and listen to episode 3. That's our most popular episode where we dive deeper into sleep and how it supports your healing. And pain isn't just about your knee. Your nervous system plays a big role. When your fight or flight system stays switched on, pain often feels worse. But when you activate your rest and digest system, your body calms down, and pain signals can often ease up a bit. One way to do this is through slow diaphragmatic breathing. try inhaling through your nose for about 4 seconds and then exhaling gently through your mouth for about 6 seconds. So that's easier said than done, but give it a try. Research studies often use 5 to 10 minutes once or twice a day, but that's not always practical when you're recovering from a knee replacement. A better place that I think to start is just a minute or two at a time. The key is simply getting started and giving your body a chance to practice this calm breathing. Shorter bouts are often more comfortable, and they help prevent feeling lightheaded or like you're overbreathing. Studies show that this kind of breathing increases heart rate variability, which is a sign of a calmer nervous system, and reduces both pain intensity and the way we think about pain, which really does matter. Think of it like hitting your body's reset button. Each slow breath helps quiet the alarm system and make space for healing. And if you're curious about other breathing techniques, stay tuned for episode 12, where we'll explore a few more approaches in greater detail. And let me get real for a moment. At the end of the day, this is your knee, and it's your healing process. Your care team can guide you and give you advice, but the choices you make each day, they're yours, and they do add up. If you push too hard or ignore red flags, you'll likely pay for it. And if you avoid doing the work altogether, progress will stall. The best outcomes come when you take ownership, listening to your body, making smart decisions, and staying consistent with the plan that you ideally helped create and that you committed to. Autonomy is powerful, and it comes with responsibility. As we start bringing this episode to a close, let's quickly sum things up. Some pain after knee replacement is still normal at 6 to 12 weeks, especially stiffness or achiness after activity. And what matters most is the overall trend: shorter soreness, less swelling, and better function over time. But if pain is worsening, sharp, or paired with swelling, redness, or fever, that's your cue to call your surgeon. And remember, this podcast is educational. I don't know your exact situation, so always follow the advice of your surgeon and therapy team. So if you found this episode helpful, share it with someone who has had a recent knee replacement or someone who's preparing for one. And don't forget to visit totalkneesuccess.com for more resources, including links to tools and supports that can make your experience better. And before we wrap up, here's a sneak peek. In episode 9, we'll shift our focus to strengthening. We'll talk about why building muscle is so important after knee replacement, how it protects your new joint, and simple ways to safely build strength. If you've been wondering which exercises matter most and how to pace yourself without overdoing it, episode 9 will give you some guidance and help you feel steady as you take your next steps. And thanks for listening. I'll see you next time. This podcast is for educational purposes only. Visit totalkneesuccess.com for more resources. Follow the show and share it with a friend. Your total knee success is already in motion.